49ers game plan presented by Zenni, the official eyewear of the San Francisco 49ers. I'm your host, Carlos Ramirez. Let's take a look at this week's must-see matchup presented by Zenni, the official eyewear of the San Francisco 49ers. And it's between Patriots running back Ramondre Stevenson, who rushed for 120 and a touchdown in 25 carries in week 1 against the Bengals, and 49ers linebacker Fred Warner, who leads all linebackers with 49 passes defended since 2018. Another standout from week 3 was Jauan Jennings, who scored 3 touchdowns last Sunday against the Rams. For more on the wideout, here's head coach Kyle Shanahan, who sat down with the voice of the 49ers, Greg Papa.
Well, Coach, the nickname is Third and Jauan, but I think we have to update it for a third for Jauan. After his 3 touchdown performance, 11 catches, 175 yards. The only other guy to do this in the history of the franchise is Jerry Rice. For a guy who's not straight line fast as far as the 40 time, how does he get so much separation?
I mean, he's been probably our best separator here over the last few years. I mean, he goes so hard. Like the way he comes off the ball, when he hits contact, he doesn't slow down at all. If someone's holding him, you never see him act like he's getting grabbed. He fights through everything. The way he blocks is the way he runs routes. It's just a mindset that he has that no one can stop him. And when you have that mindset, you have some size, he has some sneaky strength. And yeah, he might not have the fastest times and test the fastest, but I just don't think he's a good tester. He didn't jump the highest at the combine, but the guy can do a 360 dunk. So it's kind of an anomaly, but the guy is wired the right way, and he's always had the mentality to play football, and he got a lot more opportunities in this game with Debo being out, and he'd tell you that he would do that every week if he just gets more opportunities, and I don't think he's wrong.
Yeah, he is 6'3". He's got long arms. The contested catches, of the 11, 5 were deemed contested. I want to ask you about the one with Quentin Lake when Brock just threw it down the field to him, and Lake, number 37, their safety nickelbacks in front of him. Jauan just goes right over and plucks that ball. You were saying some of the choices Brock made to feed him the ball, maybe not. Was that one there?
Yeah, that one, you wouldn't necessarily, if you told me it was that coverage, usually in that coverage there's a person sitting right there. It's a 3-level throw, so I thought it should have gone to the top level or the bottom level, but not the middle level. So when you let it go, I was a little bit nervous, and I quickly forgot about it. And it was a hell of a read, because anytime you throw it and they make the play, we keep it moving and go to the next. So it was a big-time play by him, and I'm glad Brock gave him that opportunity.
No, Brock had a big-time game through 3 touchdown passes, obviously all to Jauan. But I want to ask you about his running ability, his scrambling ability. Go back to the NFC Championship game last year against Detroit. 21-yard run, 21-yard run, 10-yard run. And then in this game, he had 10 total rushes. We'll get to the quarterback sneaks in a minute. But just when it's cloudy and he has to break, contain, and get out, he's got wheels. He knows where to go. He puts the ball in the upfield arm every time, hand to make sure he gets more. Talk about the legs of your quarterback.
Well, it's something he's kind of always done in his career. I mean, if you go back and watch him in college and stuff, he's got a knack for making plays. He's got a knack for getting out of the pocket. He didn't do it a lot right away, because he also has got a very good feel for the pocket. He knows how to go through progression. He knows when plays are good, when they're bad. But just the more he's gotten comfortable, and the more when something isn't there, he doesn't try to force the perfect play. He just doesn't hesitate, and he breaks. And when he breaks that pocket, a lot of stuff can happen. And he's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's fast enough, and he's got enough wiggle on him that we kind of make fun of him for, but we shouldn't, because it's good. He makes guys miss. He gets guys to bite on his pump fakes, and he's definitely a threat with his legs.
What did you do on the play where he held the ball over 12 seconds? That was
I just kept hoping he was going to find someone so we could get some yards on it. And I'm glad he took off some of the clock at the time, but I was just hoping that he was going to find someone down the field, and I never found a big one, but got us close enough to attempt that field goal and gave us a shot.
Yeah, he's got wiggle. He's got his baby Bosa, as you call him around here, with the big quads. This quarterback sneaking. You know, Jimmy was really good at it, for you only missed one. Yeah. Brock had to learn how to do it. I think that first year he came in for Jimmy. Last year he was much better. He had a couple of sneaks for you in this game. He's a better quarterback sneaker now, isn't he?
Yes. I mean, quarterback sneak, I'd like to say we've taught him a lot, but unless someone can tell me how to practice quarterback sneaks, it's not something you can really practice. I mean, you can get on film and point little weaknesses in the defense and stuff and look at gaps and how to attack it, but it's just something you get reps at. And I think he's gotten better with all his reps. And whenever you can have a threat as a sneak, it makes you so much better in short yardage. It makes people have to play certain stuff to stop it, which opens up other things. And Brock's done a real good job with that, and he's gotten better since he's been doing it.
Yeah, Jimmy was great at it. And Jimmy learned from probably the best quarterback sneaker of all time, and Tom Brady. You played against New England where Brady didn't quarterback, but you've never coached against the Patriots in your life where Bill Belichick wasn't on the other sideline. They talk about the Patriot way. Can you see, even though he's gone and now doing TV here, there, and everywhere, can you still see the Patriot way and the way the Patriots play from Bill Belichick, Kyle?
No, definitely. I mean, just, with Mayo taking over, people have been there on defense. They've had 3 games so far, but, the scheme's the same. The mentality's the same. Bill's done that, had that scheme there for 20 years. Their head coach played in it. He's coached in it for a long time, so he knows it inside and out also. The defensive coordinator has done both of those also, and just to watch them on tape for these 3 games, it's very similar. They do the same things, their fronts, their coverages, and just the fundamentals of how they run, how they tackle, how they shed blocks. It's a very good defense, and they're going to be a very good team throughout this year.
Yeah, they got a lot of jokers on that defense, guys that are up and down and walking around. I remember we were getting ready for a game a couple of years ago. It seemed like they had 12, 13 guys on the field on defense. Brian Flores, of course, in Minnesota, came from there. Is it the same somewhat challenge to identify the jokers, who's coming, who's dropping, what's the front, how to do that?
Yeah, it all comes from the same foundation. Brian's put his own personality on his own spin, but the fronts and the threats of the blitz and things like that and going back in his zone, that's extremely similar. They probably play a little bit more man than Minnesota's doing, maybe a little bit less zero, but it's all still there. So you can tell where Brian's came from, and as all coordinators do, you're a product of your environment, but once you branch out, it suddenly becomes your own. And so there are some differences, but it's definitely obvious that it comes from the same tree.
The Patriots for the last quarter century with Coach Belichick were great on special teams. Before he was a DC in the league, he coached special teams. This team is really good on teams. They got a good punter, they got a good kicker, they cover well. This will be a challenge on special teams.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they've done a very good job for a long time, and they're doing a very good job this year in these 3 games. The way that they're playing football, too, just defensively, how they're built to stop the run, offensively, how they're built to run the ball with their 2 running backs, with their offensive line and run blocking, and then the special teams just for field position. All 3 phases of how they're built is going to lead to them having a very good record this year, I believe. And that's why we got our work cut out for us Sunday.
Yeah, they're 1-2 on 4 games last year. Could have beaten Seattle, so they're better than people think they are. To your special teams, you've had trouble, obviously, in Minnesota with a block punt against you, and then the fake punt in LA that they ran against you on the 4th and 6th, and a long punt return. When you analyze your special teams, where are the breakdowns occurring, Kyle?
I think I've answered those questions with the 3 plays you're talking about. I think that's one of the harder things with special teams, where kind of everybody wants me to give a theme or something to give them one quick answer, but special teams, you're not out there for a whole drive. You're out there for 1 play at a time. And if you take away those kickoffs, which are touchbacks now, it's probably only 10 plays, and it's spread out through a 70 play. When you count both sides, it's spread out through 140 plays of a game. So when you do have a bad play, like a blocked punt, it's tough. It sticks out a lot. But that does come down to 1, 2 people, and us preparing those 2 people so they don't mess up. When it comes down to the fake punt they got, it's about not setting the edge. We could have a safer call out there, but you still got to be able to defend the fake when you don't have your defense out there too. But when you give up 2 big plays like that, especially in the first 3 games, and you're only out there for about 10 real plays a game, and you don't always want to count extra points and things like that, it does put a lot of pressure on those guys. And we've had 2 big plays, and that's why the pressure's on. But we got to find a way to clean those up, because when you're in these tight games, like we were last week, like we have a great possibility of being in this week, especially special teams has to be clean. I don't always say, like, guys, you got to win the game for us. It's not a pressure we put on them in that way, but I want to make sure they don't give us a chance to lose the game. And when you have a play like a blocked punt or a fake punt that goes and gives the team another set of downs when you have a 14-point lead, that's not really our philosophy, and that's what we got to fix.